Good morning, cadets. Now we are going to start the new session of class 12th. That is class 12 physics. The class 11 you have all studied about mainly mechanics and thermodynamics. Mechanics, thermodynamics and wave motion. Simple harmonic motion and wave motion. This year mainly you are dealing with electricity and magnetism. The complete physics part 1 is consisting of electricity and magnetism, mainly electricity. And second part, that is physics part 2, is consisting of optics and modern physics. So, in a nutshell, to tell you, class 12 consists of electricity and magnetism. You can say electromagnetism plus optics. In addition to optics, we are learning modern physics, basically atomic structure, nuclear structure, atomic structure and nuclear science, nuclear physics, and then finally we are learning the semiconductor physics. Okay. So to start with, as I have said, we are learning electricity in detail. So to learn electricity, we are beginning with the charges at rest. The charges at rest are said to be as static charges. Charges at rest are said to be static charges. To give example, when you wear rubber shoes and walk on the wooden platform, then due to the friction, the rubber sole of the shoe will be having charged and it may attract pieces of paper, light feather. So this is one example of charging. Another familiar example is comb, the plastic comb. When you rub the plastic comb against your dry hair and bring it near the pieces of paper, the plastic comb which is rubbed will be able to pick up the pieces of paper. We say that the comb is electrified. The comb is electrified or the comb is charged. So plastic, plastic is an insulator. The other earlier one, which one I have told, rubber shoe, rubber is also insulator. To give one more example, glass rod. Glass rod, when it is rubbed with silk, it will also attract light feather or pieces of paper. So glass is also insulator. Silk cloth is also insulator. So we are learning about the charges which are developed mainly on such insulators which will not be able to flow. And such charges which are stored on the insulators due to friction are called the charges at rest. And the electricity that is produced due to such rubbing is called frictional electricity. What is it called? Frictional electricity. So I gave you example for frictional electricity. Glass rod rubbed with silk. Look at this. Glass rod and silk, both are insulators. This is said to attract pieces of paper or light. In the same way, to give another example, plastic comb or plastic rod rubbed with fur or wool, rubbed with fur or wool, also capable of attracting pieces of paper. So two examples I have taken. In both the examples, we are dealing with mainly insulators. And we say that when they are attracting pieces of paper, these are said to be electrified. Or another term for this is charged. Why are they called as electrified or charged? Mainly they are called as charged glass rod, charged plastic rod. Before rubbing, they are not able to. Before rubbing the glass rod with silk or before rubbing the plastic rod with fur, they are neutral. Means they are not capable of attracting pieces of paper. Right? Now after rubbing, due to the friction between glass rod and silk cloth, glass rod is said to be electrified. Why? Because it is capable of attracting light feather or pieces of paper. In the same way, plastic rod, which is rubbed plastic rod with fur, also is capable of attracting pieces of paper. It means when the plastic rod or the glass rod is rubbed, when it has undergone friction, then it is capable of exerting force on other materials like pieces of paper. Then when it is capable of exerting force of attraction in this case, we say that it is charged. The meaning of charge is that to attack, to exert force. You know, the charge word is used in military. If you are moving, if an army platoon is taken by a commander and if the commander gives the order, charge, take charge, then the complete platoon with all their weapons and all, they will go and attack. That is the meaning of charge. That is exerting force. So with that meaning, the term charge is being used. Okay, so in this topic, we are mainly learning about the charges carried by such insulators. Charges carried by such insulators. If you observe here, the charges carried by such insulators are not moving, they are at rest. Therefore, we are learning charges at rest, which are called as static charges. Charges at rest are also called as static charges. And such a branch of physics which deals with charges at rest, that is static charges, their forces, their field, electric field, we call the force due to charges as electric force, the field due to charges as electric field, the potential due to charges as electric potential. And we learn all these properties of the charges at rest. Right? And that branch of physics which deals with the charges at rest, electric field due to charges at rest, force due to charges at rest, and their properties in detail and their applications, we call it as electrostatics. So we are learning electrostatics as the first topic. Electrostatics. In this electrostatics, we are learning, as I have told you, charges at rest. To give a live example of the nature is the charges carried by the clouds. Just before raining, heavy rain, you will find thunder associated with lightning. Have you observed? Yes. So the clouds will be dark in color and they will be very dense in their matter. Such clouds will be suddenly leading to lightning. The lightning is due to the charges which are stored on the surface of these clouds. So lightning is the natural electrostatics. When the charges flow from one cloud to another cloud on the sky, we call it as lightning, bijli. What do you call in Hindi? Bijli, right? But when the same lightning strikes the ground, especially it will strike very tall tree, tall building, tall structure, then we call it as lightning strike, sidilu. If it is not striking the ground, we call it as minchu, coal minchu, right? So huge amount of electricity is released suddenly within a fraction of a second in the nature just before raining, and the cracking sound of air that you hear, sudden cracking sound of air that you hear during this lightning, we call it as thunder. So lightning will be associated with thunder. First you are seeing the lightning, then you are listening to the sound of thunder. Have you observed? Why are they not both together observed? You know that light travels with fastest. The light travels with the speed of 3 lakhs kilometer per second, whereas the sound travels in the air hardly 340 meter per second. These are all the things that you already noted. But in this example, in this topic, we are learning mainly about charges at rest, right? When these charges at rest, we learn their properties and all through two topics. First topic is electric charges at rest. Second topic is electric potential. And capacitors. So electrostatics is one unit number 1. So this unit is having two charges. Okay. When these charges at rest suddenly start flowing, we say that the charge is in motion. The flow of charges through the conductors, the flow of charges through the conducting medium leads to what? Electric current. Leads to electric current. So charges in motion leads to electric current. We call it as current, electricity. So that's what we see, the glowing of the bulb, the blades of the fan rotating because of current electricity. The moment you switch off, you will not be able to get the lighting effect. So the effect of this current electricity, we all know. It has become part and parcel of our life. We cannot imagine our life without electric currents. Electric current means what? The flow of charges through the conductor. When the flow of charges take place through the conductor, we use that electric current for various purposes like lighting purpose, heating purpose, and we use that in the motor of the fan, motor of the pump to lift the water, and we use that electric current for various applications, for charging our mobile, for charging our laptops, for our washing machine, refrigerator, you name it. Everything almost is depending on electric current. That is what we are learning as the second unit, current electricity. Then this is due to motion of electric charges. Then we learn heating effect, chemical effect, and magnetic effect. Heating effect of electric current we have already been introduced when we were in 10th class. Same thing is studied here. There we will learn how heat is measured, what are the related theory, and I square RT is the heat produced when the current I flows through a coil for a duration of time T. I square RT, right? And we calculate power as I square R, power loss as Joule's heating effect, loss due to Joule-City effect as I square R. These are the things that we have already learned. Same thing we learn. So, in chemistry you are learning chemical effect of electric currents, electrolysis, hydrolysis, electrolysis, chemical effect of electric current. Then, magnetic effect of electric current we are learning as a separate topic. Magnetic effect of electricity or electric current. In these magnetic effects, you will mainly learn what happens when the charges are flowing through the coil. What happens when the charges are flowing through a straight conductor? You have studied that when a conductor is carrying current, if you keep a magnetic needle close to it, the magnetic needle gets deflected. Suddenly when the current starts passing through the conductor, the magnetic needle gets deflected. So that shows that a current carrying conductor behaves as a magnet, which was conducted for the first time by Oersted. So it is also known as Oersted's experiment, magnetic effect of electric current. So that is what happens when the charges are in motion. So in these magnetic effects of electric current, you are learning mainly about moving charges and their properties. How the moving charges are leading to magnetic effects. How is the magnetism caused? All those things you are learning in detail. This is due to flow of charges. Right? In this again you are learning magnetism as the property. Moving charges and magnetism. After this, what are we going to learn? Electromagnetic induction. This is also not new to you. When a magnet is moved in and out of a coil connected to a galvanometer, you will find that the galvanometer getting deflected. Or when a current carrying coil is brought near another coil which is connected to LED or which is connected to a galvanometer, if you just move that current carrying coil, if this is a current carrying coil, if it is moved in the vicinity of another coil connected to the galvanometer, you see, if you move it to and fro, you need not bring it in contact. If you move it to and fro, just like when you move the magnet to and fro inside, in the number of turns of the coil, if you move the magnet in and out, you will find the deflection of the coil. This is called electromagnetic induction. So that is what you are learning as effect of charges being induced in a coil which is not connected to circuit at all. So this we are learning it as electromagnetic induction, Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Induction is inducing of electric current by the change of magnetic flux or change of magnetic field. So you are learning electromagnetic induction and Faraday's law in detail. As a part of this, you are learning the application as generator, electric generator as the application. Electromagnetic induction. The principle of generator is electromagnetic induction. And transformer is another one. Transformer is the another one wherein the change of current in one coil induces the current in the another coil. So that is the second part, electromagnetic induction. So these are all the effects of charges when they are set in motion. Next you are learning alternating current. Alternating current and alternating current circuits. AC means alternating current. AC circuits, alternating current circuits. In the second topic you are learning mainly about steady current. Steady current. Steady current means what? The current flowing at a constant rate. Constant rate. Amount of charge flowing per second is called as electric current. If the amount of charges flowing per second is constant, we call it as constant current, steady current, or it is also called as direct current, DC. What is it called? What is it called? DC, direct current. If the current is varying, if the current is increasing, decreasing, then we call such current as alternating current. It's not moving with constant flow. If the flow of charges is oscillating, or if the flow of charges is accelerating, then that will lead to a current called as alternating current. So every alternating current has got its own frequency. The current that we use in our classroom, in our home, in the mess, in the lab, for our domestic purpose, for our industrial purpose, for our commercial purpose, it is always alternating current. So we are learning mainly about the alternating current and its applications in detail. Then after this we are learning very interesting thing about electromagnetic waves. Very interesting thing. You can see these topics, you are going to learn these topics as topics of part 1 physics, as I had told you, of class 12th. Are they not related to charges? Charges, as long as they are at rest, as long as they are static, we learn it as electrostatics. When they start moving with constant rate, we learn it as current electricity and their applications and the circuits. Magnetic effect of current, when the charges are flowing through a straight conductor or a coil, we learn its important effect, magnetic effect. Then electromagnetic induction, AC circuits, electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic wave is a very interesting case where you will learn 7 type of waves, 7 type of electromagnetic radiation. Gamma radiation, X radiation, ultraviolet radiation, visible light radiation, infrared radiation, microwaves and radio waves. Totally 7 are there. Gamma, X radiation, ultraviolet radiation, visible light radiation, infrared radiation, microwaves and radio waves. Totally 7. So these are all called as electromagnetic radiations. How are these caused? Again, it is related to charges. When the charges are oscillating, with certain high frequency, then it will be leading to a wave, or wave consisting of electric field and magnetic field moving together. A wave in which electric and magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other and perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of the wave, we call it as electromagnetic wave. The cause of this electromagnetic wave is again accelerating charge. Or oscillating charge. Accelerating charge or oscillating charge is the cause of the electromagnetic wave. There are various electromagnetic waves as I have listed. So you are learning about all those electromagnetic waves, their properties, their applications in detail. Again, the cause of electromagnetic waves is oscillating charge or oscillating charge. To give example, if you look around, you will see number of towers, mobile towers. Mobile towers means towers are not moving. The towers which are sending you signals for your cell phone, for your mobile phone, right? In that towers, if you go and observe, at the center there will be a cable, and that cable is connected to a generator, right? And in that generator, the alternating current is supplied. The charges are supplied, and these charges are oscillated vertically. There is a vertical tower, vertical antenna it is actually. In that vertical tower, the charges are oscillated with a very high frequency, with a particular frequency of a microwave or frequency of a radio wave. And accordingly, when the charges are oscillated, very interestingly, electromagnetic wave of that frequency is released into the air. Is that clear? So the cause of any electromagnetic wave is accelerating charge. So thus in the entire part 1 physics we are learning regarding electricity, mainly electrostatics, current electricity and all this. Okay, we'll start with this tomorrow onwards with charges at rest in detail. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.